Ghosts in their cast systems. We have Michael Siciliano. How do you say your name?
Siciliano.
Siciliano.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can say it without
You
an
know, I got
accent. Siciliano. Cool
sometimes
name.
I buy food. I don't know if you've ever done this.
What's food?
It's ghosts don't really need it, but people do. And sometimes I use what they call like a credit card, or
Ooh.
a debit card to do that.
Sounds.
And people do exactly what you just did
Square.
with my name every time.
Siciliano?
Yeah, they say it like that.
With the accent?
Yeah.
Michael Siciliano!
Sometimes they do that.
Siciliano. I said it without the accent. People slaughter my last name a lot too.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Cat.
There you go.
Okay. Is that how you pronounce it? It's not cat.
No.
Cat? Okay. So we're talking about ghosts. I don't know. How do you feel about ghosts?
Well, I'm one of those people that believes in ghosts, since I personally have never had an experience with ghosts that I could account for, but I've been around plenty of people that witness these paranormal activities, and they've captivated and fascinated me for some time. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about them. I'm interested by them. My interpretation from like reading about them or watching many cheesy, horrible television shows such as this one. They're just dead people that don't want to go to the spirit realm or to their next life, so they're just like hanging around and they're stuck on a loop of some sort. And I just look at them more as I don't want to live in a place with a ghost because I like to sleep.
That's true. They do fuck with you often. The ghosts.
Yeah, they they do. Like, I've heard of so many horror stories, so many terrifying things that I don't think I could endure, where, it's like they change your alarm clock so it wakes you up too early. They're like trying to freak you out, waking you up at 3:33, or sometimes I've heard some of them, setting it later so you wake up like, oh fuck, I'm late for work again. You try and tell your boss, sorry, I got a ghost in my house and he's just making me late for work. Like, that shit doesn't fly in society. Or they do other things like, tie your shoes together, or like take a dump in your slipper. Or I've heard of them, it's like putting their cold, icy fucking hands on the water pipes. You're trying to take a shower and it's all cold. And you're like, you son of a bitch, come on. Or
I always thought that was my roommate or someone flushing the toilet, but that's a ghost?
Well, no, yeah, the ghosts do that. They'll come in there and flush the toilet, even though they took a shit in your slippers.
That figures.
Or other things, or like I'll get my great grandma fucking haunting me, and she's like speaking to me in German and like fucking asking me if I'm gay still and stuff like that. And it's like, grandma, come on, like I know you don't want to go to your next life because you had a lot of Nazi people in your life you got to reincarnate with, but just, I'm trying to fucking do something here. I'm trying to get my life together, and I can if you're speaking to me in ghostly German.
This is true. Ghosts are weird. They're very concerned with modern living. Some of them have eyeballs on their knees.
I've seen that.
And they can see from their knees. It's
a
bit weird.
It's like you learn to block them out to a certain degree, and there you are. And they're just looking at you from under the bed almost.
This is right.
What am I mean, I guess they're nicer than the shadow people.
Who are the shadow people?
You know about the
No,
shadow
I do not
people?
know of the shadow people.
All right, so since we're crossing lines of reality and fiction, since there are none, the shadow people are another reason I believe in the paranormal. From
Please, I prefer the paranoid normal.
The paranoid normal people.
The paranormal.
The paranads, abnormal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, when I was some years of younger age than I am now, when I was a teenager and I was arguing with my girlfriend after I performed poorly sexually in a car in the back of a church one night, and we were arguing and talking.
That's a bummer.
And then, I don't know, I had to bring that into it. But anyways,
I feel closer to you.
Yeah. Well, this is like 10 years ago.
Even closer.
this figure moved across the church was closed, but there was this hallway, and this figure moved past, and I remember she stood up and like was freaked out, and we thought it was a ghost. We started talking about ghosts, and I remember the singer from my band previously was telling me about these things she'd see that her soul would be fighting with while she was trying to sleep, taking on different forms and stuff. And I'd see her talking to herself like they were there and stuff. And anyways, my ex began to see these things more and more, and she could like feel/hear them calling out to her, and they'd be in certain places more often than other, and they were always just a black silhouette, sometimes wearing a fedora, sometimes kind of shapeless. And what were some of those times? Well, I remember like one time I was at work. I worked at this pizza place, and I got this voicemail of her like just being freaked out, asking when I was coming home, and that they were like around, and then I couldn't get a hold of her, so I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And then she told me later, there was just like they were just there standing. Like one was standing there like in the by the kitchen in her bedroom, and she was like in the living room freaked out. And then there was like another one in the hallway, and she was just like didn't want to move. And then she like I guess ran out the door. And then one time we were just like outside, and she could see one, and I turned on my headlights, and I didn't see nothing, but it was there according to her. And then she was talking with the singer of my band who saw the same things, and then later there was this girl that I'd gone to school with before they would see them. We would explore this abandoned mental asylum where they'd be like calling out to her, and they'd always try and get her to like come to her, and she is just like a negative force thing. And so that was her tale of them. And then I began researching them on the internet, and there's some spooky drawings and accounts for them. And then later, once I moved to Chicago,
there are many ghosts in that city.
yeah, I didn't experience any, but my roommate at the time, she was talking to this woman that would interpret dreams or turn them into art. This stupid fucking British shit artist fucking paid me in bread. Anyways, so she also had these things like dreams, and yeah, so I don't know, shadow people. And then I mean, I guess there's more stories I could go on. My friend's seen them in Washington, but we kind of think those may have been, they think they're extraterrestrial, but I think that they're shadow people or some sort of negative energy force similar. But yeah, I guess that's
I
what
believe
shadow...
I have encountered shadow people.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you like to share that with our...
When I was a young child of 17, I woke up one night, and there was a strange figure that was dark holding me down.
Oh, really?
And I couldn't move.
That's freaky.
And then I attempted to scream, and I heard no sound.
For reals?
Yeah.
That actually sounds kind of similar to a degree. Like, actually going back to Chicago, like I've heard of states of like sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Connected.
I mean, I think that's what that was.
And even going back to like yeah, that's what a lot of people argue, but a lot of people will see these dark figures.
But there was also a shadow person.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's what I'm saying.
I
People
don't
will see
know.
that. And do you remember Melissa Burkhead?
Sure.
My ex that played drums in Death Cat.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
She was reading this Henry Rollins' Get in the Van book, and she had this sleep paralysis like in her apartment. She said like she couldn't move, and she saw Henry Rollins from the 80s like with his long hair and tattoos like in bed, like she thought she was gonna get raped by him, and then she turned in the corner was a shadow person. So I don't know, it's bordering on that line of schizophrenia and paranormal and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's all connected. And what do you think of dreams in general? Or here, let me pause this so that it's